In the shivering cradle of the north, beneath pale stars and frost-laced skies, a child shall draw her first breath. Upon her breast the mark shall burn deep, black, and ancient, the stain of the abyss. She is no ordinary babe, but born of dark blood, her veins thrumming with infernal sorcery, her soul tethered to realms where mortals dare not gaze. She will walk as a girl among men, yet the shadow will know her as kin. Her laughter will echo like a charm sweet and beguiling, but behind her eyes smolder a fire not lit by this world. As she grows, so too shall her power, until the veil between planes wears thin, and the beast of her blood press against the door. Should she come of age unchecked, she will call to her kin not in prayer, but in triumph. And they will answer, oh yes, they will come, on wings of flame and ruin, to walk once more in the daylight. Woe then to the realm of men, for suffering shall not descend like rain, but rise like flood, drowning all. Thus is it woven, thus shall it be, unless a blade finds her heart before the hourglass runs dry.
Yeah. Yes, we're super close to our goal of 2,000. We just hit 1390. Really appreciate the support that we have for our mental health and suicide awareness hotline that we support, which is awesome. It's a if it's 988 itself is an anonymous text or call for just about anything that you're going through for if you're going through dark times. Excuse me. So there's tons of specialized counselors for just about anything you're going through. It also is out there in Canada. Go Blue Jays. Oops, I can't say that too loud in the South. Yeah. If you don't have the squanch to hit the button, charity comes for the heart. So pack about 30 minutes out of your day while you're stuck in traffic. Reach out to a friend and say, how you doing? And empathetically listen to them vent. Either clicking the button or doing something like that. You'll save a life. And we'll be very grateful. Jeremy, you're muted. You're muted on Twitch. Sorry. Yeah, that's what we're getting on the chat. Oh, I just didn't want you to go into too much of your spiel.
And I don't know why. There we go. I don't know why OBS likes to drop my Yeti mic as much as it does, but it does. So we battled the spider. We learned that the Great Worm is active in Sila Thalor. We made our way back to King's Gate with that information. The city is just like it's Friday, 6 o'clock, and they're ready to party. They're ready to hit the town and have a massive celebration in the wedding between their king and Lady of Erin. So we left off last time that you guys were outside of the gates of the bastion, the fortress in Kingsgate, and the king and Lady of Erin were on the wall welcoming you back. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. A little bit of time has passed, maybe a day or so since that. You've had an opportunity to rest. Your horses stabled. You had something to drink, something to eat, and you feel somewhat normal. If those of you that have not been in Kingsgate before, the city is massive compared to anything we've seen so far in the campaign. The streets are filled with people. On top of that, the surrounding villages and towns, have sort of collapsed on the city for the celebration. There's lots of extra food has been brought into the city. Lots of ale and spirits have been brought into the city. Lots of, anything that's going to enhance the party has been brought into the city. With Thora not here tonight, we will assume that Thora is, we will assume that Thora has departed to an area of Kingsgate known as Jingletown. And Jingletown is a place where displaced barbarians of Galengard now reside. And a jingle is when you put horses out to pasture. So the town has kind of been renamed Jingletown for that reason. And Mo, you're going to have to forgive me because the overlay has you listed as Alice, which clearly you are not. Okay. So, also, Alice has departed the group. She's got unfinished business. She's still trying to resolve everything that went on with her brother and such, and trying to maybe find the balance there for that within her own mind and emotions. So she has departed. We can assume that she's in Kingsgate, though, somewhere still. The three of you now reside inside what is known as the Bastion, which is the fortress here in Kingsgate. The people refer to it as the Bastion of the North Wind, hearkening back to the days when the city was called Northgate, not Kingsgate. And before we jump into anything, is there anything that the three of you want to say, like any business that you would take care of now that you're within the city? If you don't think you would stay inside the Bastion, that's fine. Let's talk about where you think you would stay. Or if staying at the Bastion while you reside here in Kingsgate for the next little while is not where you'd be, let's talk about that so we can sort of set up where in the city you're staying and what it is you're doing. Does anyone want to lead on that?
Is there a outpost for the Order here?
There is not an outpost for the Order here. In fact, the Order is mostly located in Darkwood Abbey.
Yeah.
That being said, there are likely, there would certainly be certain faiths, like the priests, the clerics of Orion would be well aware of your order and would welcome you there, because Darkwood Abbey is a place of worship for the clerics of Orion. So if you want to find,
I think she'd just stay in the Bastion then, just because she's not intrinsically a person of faith herself, though she is at charge of one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just to be with the party and just be closer to what is going on, she would feel comfortable being at the Bastion then if there's not a post.
Sure. So Grenna remains at the Bastion. How about Silas?
Silas would definitely go. He's been living here for about a number of years now, so probably would go see the clerics of the Orient, clerics of Orion of the Illuminated Quill, to go pay them a visit, and specifically to go see Master Ren while he's here.
Okay. Yeah, so let's assume that you're not at the Bastion, that you've made your way into the city. The Illuminated Quill, of course, reside at the Great Library here, which doesn't have really a fancy name other than the Great Library, because there's not a lot of libraries. So why name it anything else? You think is sort of where that all came from. So yeah, certainly. And remind me, so that you'll be much quicker probably than me looking through my notes. Your mentor is... Do you remember?
Oops, Mickey.
Astus.
I knew it started with an A.
I had to look over my notes. I haven't used that his name since I made up his name.
So upon your return, let's just go through that small scene. So you make your way through the city. Silas is remembering, it just imagine walking through your hometown and you see sights that bring back certain nostalgic bits of good feeling. Maybe there's some places that not so good feeling. But you find yourself not long within the library and in the area that the Illuminated Quill sort of monitor and curate. Astus is quick to find you, and he says, "Boy, I heard you were back in the city. I heard that Vhagar and the priest from Darkwood Abbey had returned. Celebrations will soon be taking place." And then he notices the patch. And his demeanor kind of changes a little bit. He looks like a concerned father, and he's like, "What happened?"
Good to see you as well. So, but yes, some troubles on the road. I did bump into the knight you know as Vhagar and his squire boy, and just hailed along their routes since we were both headed to the abbey. But unfortunately, I did lose an eye in that regards. Not to worry you, my dear friend, but things are all right. I'm seeing better than ever. So
he sort of reaches out to touch it, but he doesn't. Just he catches himself and realizes that that's maybe an invasion of some type. And says, he does say to you though, you went to the abbey seeking more knowledge. Did you find it?
Also, Brother Graydon I tried to find Brother Graydon, but needless to say, the man had lost what sanity he had. He spent time in the swamps to the south. In doing so, the knowledge I sought was not necessarily there, but knowledge was found nonetheless.
He invites you to his quarters and pours you a cup of tea and one for himself, and sort of grills you for as much information as he can get out of you. So rather than going back through everything, is there things that Silas would avoid sharing with Astus? Or is he an open book? Does he spill the beans? I think he's an
open book to an extent. He's very cautious of the eye and the revelation there, but he does mention the dealings with Istis, not the crisis of faith that he's having. I think he's still very much bound by his own moral compass, his own moral fiber. It's what's guiding him. It's still not the gods, and it never will be in his mind, but he's definitely seeing them as more, I think he's humanized them a bit, especially after the dealings with the goat of the north, right? They're not perfect. I think he's like sharing this with Astus most especially, that they're not all that they claim to be. And amongst other things, Estes, a second prophecy. as well. I think he would mention the second prophecy.
Okay.
I think he recites it to him.
Okay.
And if anybody wants me to recite it, I'll do it because I've been gone for 3 weeks and I missed you guys.
Did we hear it?
If you're
I don't think-
if you're
In
down
case you
for
haven't,
if you're down for a recital, I would welcome you to do that.
sure. In the north, a girl shall be born with the mark of the abyss upon her breast. Her blood shall carry the whispers of ancient demons, and the gift of unholy sorcery shall be hers by birthright. If left to grow unchallenged, she shall tear the veil between worlds, and the spawn of the pit shall walk among men, heralding an age of ruin and despair. And on the same turning of the stars, another child shall draw breath. A nameless hero, she bears the mark of heavens upon her heart. From silence and shadow she shall rise. Her path shall be veiled in hardship, yet she alone holds the light to challenge the dark. When the twin flames meet, one of ruin and one of grace, the fate of the world shall be balanced upon a blade of prophecy. One shall fall, one shall rise. The world shall tremble before the choosing. I don't know why I had to say the words like shadow, darkness.
That's okay.
Sounded like a
Don't
like a Kingdom Hearts.
don't
game
justify
over
it. Don't justify it. It was good. It was good. Astus takes all that in, and you can tell that he feels that these are very grim tidings. Even though that the new prophecy sort of offers a chance at redemption or a hope, he still seems very bothered by that. What do you reveal about your eye to him, if anything?
I don't think he's gonna say anything.
Okay.
I think Astus, he does ask about the other, because he knows that there are multiple eyes of Istuses, in particular for each of the three aspects. He's curious as if there is any other hints. Again, he's in the Great Library, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not use that to our advantage? Is Silas's thinking? Is there a possibility to maybe get a peek into where the others might be? Have they ever been seeing these objects of ruin or power?
Okay.
He's
He's willing to work with you within the library to find that information. He does not know.
Another favor then, Astus as well. I mean, spirit deities of the northern tribes. There's a great spider we have had encounters with here in the last few days. Don't bother asking. It's a long story, but are there other deities of them? Could you also look into that for me as well?
He agrees to that. He says to you, though, he says that our knowledge of the wood elves in Silathalor is very limited.
I understand, yes.
However, it is my understanding that the king has called the Rangers home for the wedding. So there's a group of woodswomen known as the North Rangers. They are sort of the scouts and the early warning system of the kingdom. If anyone knows more about the Wood Elves, it would be them.
Did he pull how many battalions is it? Is it even a battalion's worth?
He thinks they number close to 100. But truthfully, it's unknown how many Rangers there are.
And if the king pulled them all south,
I don't know
who's protecting the north right now?
I don't know if he has. But I do know that Lady Greystone, their leader, is within the city.
Lady Greystone. Oh, yeah. Estes, something dark is coming from the north. We saw it ourselves. A great creature. Snakes crawling. Millions and millions of arms that that pull it through the dirt. It crawls beneath. And while it seems that much of further north has Ashglade is unknown to us, what I saw even close to the borders of Darkwood Abbey is not good. If they pull all those rangers, and I think he lets it slip. He does let it slip. I've seen what can happen.
He says that although he understands that you are not a religious man, the Illuminated Quill can certainly pull on their connections within the Temple of Orion and see if the God of Knowledge and Light cannot, pardon the pun, shine a light on this information.
The God of Knowledge and Light, yes. He still scoffs at that term. I think the God of Knowledge and Light is lacking in knowledge.
He does not take your bait. He does not fall for a discussion on that right now. He simply smiles with a knowing, like, some things have clearly not changed, Silas.
Yeah, he's been doing this. Has been a conversation between Estes and Silas for years.
Yes.
I imagine it's the old man clinging to faith and the young buck coming in going, let me show you what I can do. No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna pause there. I'm gonna jump back.
One more thing I want to add before.
Go ahead.
Just real quick. I think as Silas is leaving or just walking around, kind of like almost fading into the background, deeper into the library of books, also make a note. The black goat, feminine of nature. Let it be known. We did not know that before.
Okay. I like that. Perfect. Okay. Jumping back to Grenna. Grenna, maybe it's morning. You've risen. The king's servants and people are sort of like waiting on you. I don't want to assume anything, but I would suspect that Grenna finds it a tad annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I think at some point, like, she's kind of endeared by it at first because, like, she's been on the road and she's tired and everything. But I think by, like, hour two, like, after she wakes up, she's like, all right, I understand that you got a job here to do, but, you know, I'm fine. I'm good. Go do your job maybe somewhere else. Not trying to be rude, but I don't need that much help. I'm fine.
You sort of shush them away. And they do follow your request, but as they recede from maybe not your bedchamber, you're out of your room right now, and
yeah.
You're in maybe at one of the corridors of the bastion when as they recede, a young man is left standing in the corridor. You're not sure if he was waiting for you, but he's sort of loitering about. And when he sees you, he says, You're the one from the Abbey.
Aye.
He has a very blocky frame. Think like a football lineman. Like he's just...
Yeah, I'm thinking like Brock Lesnar, just
square
shoulders,
exactly.
square head,
exactly.
like...
He's maybe 22 at the most. He's not all that old.
Okay.
He does not wear a fleur-de-lis though. He wears a tabard with what looks to be a yellow or golden colored dragon embroidered on it. Which you do recognize as the symbol of Wyvernsmoor, which is a city to the south. He says, I didn't think your order left the Abbey. I thought you stood vigilant there.
There are a few of us who, take charge or have a quarry outside of the abbey, but it is fairly rare. Though lately it's a little bit more than that. Just really depends what's going on. Why?
Curious. I haven't been. Well, this is as far north as I've been. I've heard stories of the abbey, though.
Beautiful area.
He says, "I'm Davin. Davern Wormbane." And you recognize the name. This would be the son of Gregor Wormbane, who is the Baron of Wyvernmoor.
Oh, so you're the Baron's boy.
He blushes a little bit, but you can tell that he's sort of disappointed that you've recognized the name. But at the same time, you're like, if you didn't want me to know your name, why would you say it?
Yeah, she's just like having conversation at this moment and definitely just trying to read the story that's on this guy's face.
He says do you know if the order is accepting applicants?
I mean, to be completely fair, we're always accepting people who are interested. There's only extenuating circumstances I've ever seen somebody not get accepted. But if you're willing to put in the work and go through the trials, they're willing to take you.
I'm not too old.
Are you in? No.
I'm too old to join the King's Guard. I would have had to start that path long ago.
To be completely honest, the order is actually quite familiar with getting older applicants because of how the King's Guard function. It's not a secondary charge. I don't want you to think of that, but it's another option. It's definitely another way. I've loved it. And I'm pretty sure we're very similar in age, so you shouldn't be worried about anybody being older or younger than you. There's lots of people of all ages there. Children, we've got the masters, got the brothers and the fathers, and got the old women in the kitchen. Everyone's really nice there. Are you interested?
He nods. I'm not going to ask you to make an insight check because he's not very good at hiding his feelings. He's clearly looking for, you think, a path. You're not sure that necessarily the order would be the right path, but this is a young man who's sort of trying to find a way.
What do you like to do when you're by your lonesome? You got time?
He looks at you and he towers over you, and he like very sort of unsure to admit what he's about to admit to you, and he says, do you read?
Aye.
Before the kingdom was formed, there were those that kept histories and information. Most of them are stored here in the Great Library, but Wyvernmoor has a fairly large collection, and I just read about places that I would like to see one day, and mysteries that the people of these lands unraveled before my time.
So do you want to discover new stories, or do you want to follow old ones?
He thinks about that. Maybe looks out a nearby window and then turns back to you and goes, I'm not sure. I like
Maybe
the idea
that is your
of
path to start.
I like the idea of being in the stories that I've read, but they all seem distant. They all seem made up at times.
Sometimes they are.
Are you staying for the wedding?
I
Maybe we could talk more on this.
like that. You're an interesting fella, I will say that. Definitely not what I imagined from that family. Not that I know much about your family, that sounds really awful. No, I apologize. I only mean that I just heard really interesting things about how you all function in your city. It's just different. I've never been there.
It's like a fortress.
That's what I've heard.
Not in a good way.
No?
My grandfather was a bit rigid, draconic in thinking. And yeah. Dad's like that sometimes too, but my understanding is it was a very different place under my grandfather. But my grandfather fought in the Orc Wars. He retook Kingsgate with Lord Takar then, but eventually King Takar. There are many that say my grandfather was a great warrior, but there are others who call him a bully. Either way,
Sometimes you can be a great warrior and an awful person.
Can you?
Yes. You can be given accolades for some of the greatest things you've ever done, but behind closed doors, you could be a monster. Nobody would ever know.
Those words land on him heavier than maybe you expected. And you find him to be very, like, he takes pauses between your words, and he appears to be a thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
I'm on my way to the library.
oh,
I've never been to the Great Library, and now that we're here in Kingsgate, I very much wish to see it. But maybe during the wedding we can have a drink, and you can tell me more about the Abbey.
aye, absolutely. I mean, I'll be there. You find me, we'll sit down and chat.
I also heard that you were in the Elves' Wood.
I'm pretty sure we have been the farthest in the wood that anyone in the realm has been, except for the elves.
As you say that, a man and woman appear at the very end of the hallway. The man is the spitting image of Davin. He's large-framed, broad shoulders, very much your, like, you use Brock as an example. Very much like that.
Yeah, like
very much like that, but
we got a big Brock, and now I'm talking to little Brock.
But the man at the end of the hallway has seen his prime, and he shows signs of age now, and maybe doesn't walk with as brisk a step, but he's wearing a coat of mail regardless, and his tabard has the golden dragon on the breast, and then beside him is a woman who also has a fairly tall and strong frame. She too, though, is probably past her prime in that she's, age has just come along. And, think of, again, if you can think of some sort of an Olympic athlete that just like you're sure this woman is still in incredibly good shape, but only the first hints of her age are starting to sort of creep their way in. The two of them look down the hall, and in a very gruff tone, the man's like, Davin, if you're coming to the books, you come now.
I'll take that as relief then.
He's like, we'll talk soon.
I
And
look forward to it.
he hurries down the hallway, and the older man doesn't even wait, just walks. But the mother waits, and her eyes linger on you for a little while before the two of them then disappear down the hall after the big man.
I think when she lingers on me, Grenna does curtsy, like does a formal curtsy to a woman of higher stature than her. When she notices that she's like acknowledging her existence, I think she just does like a low curtsy to acknowledge her and just give her the respect of that moment, and then wait till they leave, and then she will leave.
Okay. She doesn't acknowledge you in any way. Like, she's looking at you, and you give her a curtsy as sort of a sign, a little tip of the hat, a little bit of respect that you certainly didn't have to do. And there's not like a turn up of the nose or anything. I don't want you to think that, but there's no acknowledgement of approval
Does she
or
look like
disapproval.
she's looking at, like, does she look like she's looking past me
No.
once I do that and kind of notice it? But no, she's looking at me.
Yeah, very much so.
Ooh, okay. She
Right.
definitely clocks that as just like a little weird thing, but then once she turns and leaves and they're gone and she feels like, you know, in that moment she has the presence to leave, she'll just kind of meander out of wherever she is right now and just keep kind of walking around.
As you do that, as you meander out, a serving person passes you, but gives you an extra bit of room, not wanting to bother you anymore, and lets you go. Vagard. You've had a rest, you've had some food, and you are met that morning. You were supposed to, or it would be protocol for you to report to the Kingsguard this morning.
Like the captain of the Kingsguard.
Yes. who is a nobleman by the name of Lord Norrin.
Norrin, got it.
So it's not long before you and Lord Norrin are standing in sort of a courtyard. There may be some training going on of the squires. And Jacques is not with you anymore. He's back in the rank and file of the Bastion. On a side note, I will tell you, as we're all been leveling, Jacques, upon reaching home here, has become a first level fighter.
Ooh.
So if we're rooting for Team Jacques, we're making baby steps.
We'll see.
Baby steps.
We'll see.
What are you talking about? He's pure boy. He's good boy.
He's a debatable boy. Don't treat him like a little pet, right? My dog's in the background right now. Jock is a debatable good boy. Okay.
Excellent. So, Lord Norrin,
Sitting there looking at those two girls back from the one city. No, that kid. All right, never mind. I'm done.
Lord Norrin says,
A coat of mail.
you were delayed.
I was. Do you wish to receive my report now, if you have the time?
No. As I've been given instructions, you don't answer to anyone but His Majesty on this. I do not need the details, other than that you're back. And we are... Although you are late, I am happy to see that you're in one piece, and that you completed the task you were set out to do.
I don't want to give any signs whatsoever. So he's very well. I will report to the king. Are you going to set the audience, or shall I?
No, I'm sure he's expecting you. And as he says that, you get, it's just the tone of like, he knows your personal relationship with the king from before the king was the king, and he's sure that, the formality of him making an appointment for you would be.
If that's the case, I want to make sure that I would like to speak with him at least afterward and level the bubble.
He agrees to that.
If
He says there are some concerns going on in the city that I would also like to bring up to yourself, assuming that Our Majesty does not send you on another errand.
my duty is to the kingdom as it is to the king himself. If there are requirements in the city and there's time, I'm yours.
He nods to that, and he lets you continue on your way. You make your way into the bastion and sort of into more secluded parts of the castle. There's maybe even a secret door or two that you pass through before you're finally into like where the king sort of would reside day to day. Just a quick description of the bastion. So the bastion of the Northwind rises like a crown above the city, and its towers gleam in the crisp light of morning. Banners of blue and gold ripple in the breeze, each marked with the fleur-de-lis, the king's emblem, proud and pure. The air smells of the channel, and there's a mist constantly sort of crashing against the walls of the bastion far below. From high terraces, you can see ships drifting through the King's Channel, their sails gleaming as bells toll from the castle above, and the air does carry a bit of a salty song to you. If you've grown up here, it's probably something you've come accustomed to. Maybe sometimes it just becomes white noise in the background, like you don't even realize that you can hear the water crashing against the cliffs and that. You come into a chamber, and the king is reading from a book, and he looks up and smiles at you, and he says, I'll never memorize these vows, Someone will have to give me notes.
I'd be happy to help you rehearse them, Your Majesty.
Come and sit down. I want to know everything.
Tell you that I wouldn't want to darken the radiance of these special times. So
he's like, if there's
yourself.
Something weighing on you, I want to know it.
I would say hard for you to maybe let me begin. There is an imminent threat. I think there's a great risk, especially now that everyone's gathering in the kingdom. We delve deep into the forest. We're no ranger or druid. We did run into a very skilled woman who resides in our city now, named Alice. I am accompanied not just with Alice, with a group that has become as dear to me as you are. These brave souls that now reside within the city, and a knight that's in the bastion itself, and a brave barbarian I must check on soon. It's in Jingletown. We've fought things that I can only say were as powerful as gods. I don't know if you believe deeply in the omens of the gods from our relationship, but I can tell you that I have seen their power, and they're at play, and there are prophecies that are creeping very, very close to this castle. I can't decipher them. I'm only a servant of you, Your Majesty. But I can tell you I'm accompanied by those that are cracking the code on what is a threat to not just the king, but the kingdom which I serve. We've run into orcs. We've heard words of great worms burrowing under the earth. There is famine to the north. There is something growing. My recommendation, and you don't have to take it, is to embrace this time. Smell what we smell. Lilies coming off of our great river and our great channel. And steel yourself and prepare for something coming. And you must trust, my friends. We have a mage, Silas, that is empowered by great things and great wisdom. And if you trust me, you will speak with him. Now, he does not have the same etiquette that you may be expecting, but if you cherish your kingdom, I think you need to heed their words. I'm sorry to darken this time.
But who? What? Where does these threats come from? What?
If I speak to you what I've seen in the swamps, in the villages, in the forest, I've seen the Inquisitors completely out of line, searching for some young woman. Murders, as they would call purges. And we can't have these activities besmirch your name in front of your constituents. These are just my humble opinions. We've had to flee them and their barbaric acts in the name of their religion or their codes. I had to be extraordinarily pragmatic around them, or else I don't think I would have returned with my head in Broad Jacob. But that's for others to barter with.
You speak of the Inquisitors of the Pale Blade?
Yes, of course. I think they're getting too brazen in your kingdom.
The High Inquisitor is here for the wedding.
Yes, I would imagine they are here, but I can tell you, I don't trust the way they're going about searching for this omen. Now, I do believe that there are, and you'll have to speak with my dear friend Silas about these prophecies.
Then we'll speak. I'll convene a council.
You would.
You bring this Silas and your allies. All of the barons of the kingdom are here in the bastion right now, as well as the High Inquisitor.
Can they speak with you privately first? I don't want any other biases in the room. You trust me. They speak as if it was myself. I've seen them fallen.
He leans sort of across the book, closer to you on the table, and he says, "Vegard, if the kingdom is threatened, the barons deserve to know too."
I would be curious as to what barons would mask this information.
Well,
We've seen with our own.
Baron Wyvern Bane is here from Wyvern Moor. He's been loyal. His family has been loyal to my family since the kingdom was formed. Baron Oren of Ravenport has come by ship. And the Baroness of Riverwatch is here. As well, Lady Greystone of the North Rangers is here. The High Inquisitor, Jericho of the Pale Blade, has come. These are all people that, if given the right information, could be incredibly helpful to us. Especially if this threat is everything you say it is.
we need to be cautious with who could have been corrupted by what I've seen. Its power is beyond what I can imagine. And I'm not sure if I can speak to it as well as my educated friend who's in the Grande Bibliothèque. Across the... But I'm at your service, Your Majesty. I'm so happy for you. He's not going to give in about the sister or anything like that. He's keeping it professional.
Okay. He says you bring your allies here tonight. I will assemble the barons and we'll all speak on this. The barons will listen. I will listen. If the kingdom is a threat, all of our leaders need to know of it.
I know what I've seen with my eyes.
I don't...
You must know I'm deeply loyal to you.
I've met with each of them.
Go.
Vegard, I've met with each of them on their arrival. They're like they've always been. Old friends to my father. Trusted allies. They want the best for this kingdom.
I want to take his forearms like we probably did like long ago in our old handshake, and I'm going to grip them really hard. You know I want the best for you. Remember that.
Of course. And I for you.
I'm so happy for you. Now, remember those vows? They're from the heart. If you stumble bumble them, just make sure you give a good kiss.
He smiles, and he's like, yes, back to studying. And he turns his attention back to the book, and then he as you are about to leave the room, he stops you and says, what about the kid that you took? Jacques.
Oh, Jacques. Yes. Do apologize for being the main character for a second, but Jacques has proved extraordinarily brave and valuable. I can't tell you the depths of the dungeons that young man has survived. He's going to make an amazing knight for you. He's got a little bit more growing, but he has boundless courage, boundless loyalty.
Lord Norrin.
He is a nerd.
Lord Norrin has suggested that maybe the boy's path is not with the King's Guard.
Can I say something? I feel over the next months, maybe years, your Kingsguard, your most valuable and loyal servants to this realm, they may not wear this fleur. They're going to be brave individuals from all different sects and trades. You'll have the fleur-de-lis, but I think there are folks out there that are loyal to this kingdom that'll prove their worth, with or without this blue tab armor.
Baroness Gwyn of Riverwatch is looking to replace numbers in her ranks. I think Jacques would make a good guardian for the Baroness.
I'll just stand up and look at him. I don't want to part with him.
He's ready. My understanding is he's doing very well in the yard, even from the few hours we've seen him from since he's been home.
For what he's done for you, can we make it his decision? If he needs more time, he can stay with me. If he doesn't want to go to River and his heart's not in it, I wouldn't put him to that.
He looks at you with very knowing eyes. You're soft on him.
Not you.
I'll talk to Lord Norn. And we'll put it to Jacques.
I won't die on this hill, but I will die on the hill for you, Your Majesty, and I'll stand up.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll show him my sword, and I'll be like, "Oh, look at this!" And with the key, I call her Deborah, and I'll hand it. It doesn't have a name, but yeah, because all it does is leave debris. I don't know. I just made that up, and I'll
He takes it. He takes it, and he's like, "Where did you get this?"
Dungeons. Looters gotta loot.
Bring it. Come here. And he gets up. He looks.
Oh.
He goes out into the hallway. He says, "Come on."
Yes.
So
really quickly, do you also tell him that you're wearing a whole new suit of armor as well?
Yeah, I'll probably be like,
"Are you wearing the armor?"
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, right. Upgrades.
Fantastic. He takes you through the bastion and into an old part, like one of the original parts of the bastion that's been there and maybe wasn't destroyed in the orc raids, like a piece of the bastion that remained. And he's walking you down this corridor, and there's all these ancient paintings of knights that served Northgate. Not Kingsgate, but Northgate. And he stops at one, and there's a man there wearing your armor.
Oh.
And you can make out the pommel looks somewhat like, kind of like a key, like yours.
Well, we gave him a noble burial far north into the forest, but I know where he's at. If he's missing, does he have a family? Wait a minute. This would have been hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, but about three generations back. Under the painting, it says Igard Tegren.
Silas is gonna love this lore. He just writes it down.
He's like,
I know a guy. He knows this stuff.
You should maybe find out who he was.
Absolutely.
Many of the knights in this corridor, I don't know who they were, but they served Northgate.
I'll tell you where he fell. There was a spider about the size of that Buick out there. Wait, there's no Buicks here. I'll just point out about the size of that wagon out there. You should have seen this thing. Not. Hang on one sec. We faced. Oh gosh, Nilthara. I don't know if you've heard of this great spider.
When you say Nilthara and it rolls off your tongue, he's like, "Is that Elvish?"
Yeah. Could be. We ran into some elves.
You're learning how to speak Elvish now?
No. I can speak some terms back and forth, but I gotta tell you, there is a knight of the Eglantine order here. Yeah, I said that. And she rode an owl into combat. We have so many stories for the wedding night when we bust open some tankards. You can't imagine the people that serve your kingdom and serve the people of Cerulean. We are blessed with some hitters, as they say.
He seems impressed. And the two of you part ways. And he tells you that he's going to make arrangements for this meeting tonight.
Now I just have to convince my.
So, well, I'm going to say that the first person you find is Grenna. The first person you find is Grenna.
Okay. All right.
And maybe Grenna's on a balcony or something, overlooking like a courtyard where some training is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just fully enjoying having kind of like a free roam of the bastion, just really enjoying whatever there is there. And I think you find her definitely on like an overlooking like training grounds, and she's just kind of watching.
Just put the old hands up like this and kind of peer over.
Ooh.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I've been gone. I had to check in. I think I'm free.
I think we've all been gone. To be honest, I haven't seen you or Silas since we really got into the city, but it's all right. I'm actually quite enjoying my time here.
That's great.
How was your meeting?
It went well. I tried to infer a lot of the information we've seen as I'm trying to threat this, and I just point out over this happy Disney, scene in front of us and I just point out to the forest that we probably can clearly see from the distance. And as much as respite and joy is here, I think there is grave things coming. And I look straight at her and just kind of give this like weird grin. I don't think it's fair for me to describe King, as I'm looking at her with like a cocked eyebrow, what we've seen. And he has asked, he summons of the four of us in an audience to explain what we've seen. And if you don't mind, you could help me convince our dear, sweet, patient, kind Silas to maybe help explain to not just the king, but the kingdom and all of these people the dire straits that are upon them. If you don't feel that there's an impending doom, and maybe it's just me being anxious, then so be it. Feel we have a great deal of influence amongst our party that we could use to protect the lives of not just this kingdom being the first bulwark, and I'll just be more stern, the first bulwark against your trees, your abbey, and anybody. But far be it for me to make any decisions for any of you who I love so dearly.
I think you see her face like fall in this conversation from like this jovial, at peace, to this concern, this deep-rooted concern. And she looks at you and makes eye contact. How do you know that everybody we will have this meeting with has good intent with the information that we are willing to share? Yes, they may sit beside the king, but how certain are you that they stand beside him in every way, shape, and form? It would not take this information and do harm with it.
I wanted a private audience, Greta. He wouldn't allow it. He trusts the barons completely. and I'll have my eyes closed. I'm no king, but I am the king's servant. Please, you have to help me. I don't have the wisdom. It's not a crime. I do not have the wisdom. Castles Crusades. Hit like a phone. But
I understand the position you're in between duty and honor and how you personally feel. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think we should tell them everything. I think we should tell them enough to complacate what we've done and give credence to how long we've been gone. But in terms of how deep we go into the minutiae, I think we have to understand who we're speaking to before we're speaking. My concern is that I just spoke with one of the Baron's sons not too long ago down in one of the other courtyards, and the Baron came in and he had no patience for his own son, his own wife. He wouldn't have patience for a whole other culture and creed of people he does not understand, nor a prophecy or a faith that he might not pay mind to. Barons are different than kings. Barons want money and land and people. They do not want peace. They do not want prosperity unless it is their own. He trusts the barons because the barons hold in mind the things that he cannot hold himself. The responsibilities of land and power that are outside his city jurisdiction. That's why he trusts them so, because they feed him with potential lies or goodness or unfaithful truths. We don't know who these people are. And I'd be willing to share our story, but to a point. I need to make sure that we are safe. Not only the information that we hold, but that we are safe. Because as soon as we leave those chambers, who knows? We could be kidnapped, we could be taken for ransom, we could be forced and tortured for any other information. I do not put that past anybody in this realm. And I know you love your king. But what would your king be willing to sacrifice and do for the peace or for the power that he craves?
This is I have to come to you. I trust you all completely. And I'm sure Silas is going to put a boot in my ass for bringing this up.
He's going to put two.
Greta, please, I have to try.
No, I believe you and I'm here. I support you trying. I think we should try. But we have to be smart about how we try.
We need
Calculated.
to have a way to get out of here. I warned him. I warned the king. And I'll get in close that my duty is to him, but I go with you. Because what we're up against is what the world is up against.
Hey.
So we need an out.
That we do. I will start.
Do you have a way to fall from his grace?
I don't ever think I was put too much in his grace in the first place, so finding a way out of it won't be too hard for us.
Yeah.
Is there a line you're not willing to cross?
I don't know. I've learned so much with all of your companionship. I've learned that I may have been isolated with my friend the king for a long time. Duty as a kingsguard. And I've seen the kingdom. And if he's the kingdom, I support the kingdom. And that supports the king.
Right. I understand where you stand. Never ask you to change it. What I am going to ask you moving forward is that you open your eyes a little bit more. I think the world around you is a different world than you've been living in. And I think us all adventuring together has been very important for all of us. I know that I have been put out of my wits. I thought I was prepared to leave the Abbey. I'm finding I am not. And if I am, I can't do it alone. So I understand where you feel. And I understand our responsibility now with the information that we have, the experience that we've gathered. But like I said, I'm willing to move forward. I support you entirely. But especially with Silas, we're going to have to figure out what we can and can't say. And make sure that we don't lead on to them that we know any more than we are laying down at their feet. Do you think you could at least put on the mask for that long with your king?
Absolutely.
And I trust you will be able to do so. And I ask that if I start to go off on a tangent, you follow my lead. If things start to go haywire and we can't find that out, you follow my lead.
Stand up straight and face you. Well.
All right. Now let's go find Silas so he can put those boots in your ass and I can take him out. We can get a move on.
So you move through the city towards the great library where you know Silas is staying. This Grenna, for you, I don't know if you've spent time in Kingsgate before. Can we assume this is your first time here?
I think she's been there maybe like once before, and it was just as like a precursor because she probably went with like the Abbey like to go do something and just be like, hey, I went to the city once. But it's probably been at least almost 6-7 years since she's been at the city, I would say.
So then you don't remember it being this cramped. There are so many people in the streets. There are so many extra people here. As you pass inns, they are overflowing with, food is going in and like waste is being dumped out essentially. This is very much because magic is not as prevalent here as maybe some other D&D worlds and cultures. This place, like the city, stinks. This is, there are lots and lots of pleasant, and I'll put that in quotation, smells of the city. And as you make your way through Vagard, you notice a obvious difference that like the streets are so much busier than you are used to. On top of that, you pass certain areas that seem somewhat changed, maybe not quite as welcoming. People seem a little more standoffish. There are a number of factions moving through the city that Vagard's not entirely familiar with. There are other factions that seem absent to you. As you move through, for a city that Vagard is intimately familiar with, there are times where he feels a stranger. And there's nothing specific that you put your finger on. But in the month that you've been gone, you feel like something has changed in Kingsgate. You make your way to the library, and the library is in a much better part of the city, and the streets start to, and when I say better, I shouldn't have said better. That's not the right wording. A more affluent area of the city. So, you don't have all the inns and that clogging up the streets now, and things start to space out a bit. This part of the city seems unchanged to Vagard. The great walls of the library loom up ahead of you. A garden surrounds it on all sides. You make your way in through the many priests of Orion that keep the library, and it's not long before you find Silas. Silas, what would you like to be doing when they arrive?
Immediately head buried into a book. You can kind of see like he's got a cup of tea, but he's got the whole pot next to him, and then just like this small little like container of sugar, and you could see like the sediment of the sugar is almost like swirling around because he just keeps putting tea and sugar, and next to him, and again, Tim, you always give me great ideas, but he loves sweets, so probably like a tray of croissants with chocolate stuffed centering, like small, just eating on the side, sipping and going. And then Estes, the book you're looking for is in the third aisle, if I remember correct, unless you have moved it since I have been gone. No?
He looks at you with much disdain, like, how dare you suggest that I would move things out of place in this library? And you guys notice a dithering, sort of what appears to be a dithering old man sort of wandering through the stacks and sort of shaking his fist at Silas as Silas suggests that. But he doesn't say anything, and then he just quietly moves down the third row where he was directed to.
He's looks up just for a second. Oh, apologies, Dad. Tea, both. Please sit. Please, I have not seen you. How long has it been? A day? Looks like it's been a day. Has it been a day?
About.
It's maybe almost been 2.
About.
Yeah. And I will add this. I will add this to this picture, which Mox has done such a great job of setting. The book that you are reading is written by the King's first Rangers. This is not. We are currently on Takar the Third. You have found a tome from the Lord Ranger from Takar the First, who ventured deeper into the Elven Woods than it would appear you have. And he talks about... You have found some inclusion of beasts of great power that the elves seem to revere as guardians, but they're not... You have not found any names or specific reference to any specific types of beasts. Just a general statement, but you feel like you're on the right track.
Greta, come, take a look at this. And I'll show her like this line. Like you can tell like the book is very, very old. It's almost like withering away at the corners. Estes and I are going to copy it over eventually. But look, we found other mentions of great beasts of power that lie to the north. Those might be what our friend Erendor was talking about. Of the corruption.
And then she's like perusing over your shoulder, and then there's a moment where she like turns the book to look and kind of like moves off your shoulder so that she can kind of like just read what the page is saying. And I think she takes a second to like just really skim over the page and just give it kind of like a very breath of fresh air look onto it, and just like, are there any, like, there's no names, but is there any animal types or creature types that kind of catch her eye in terms of that?
There is only mention that there are a great number of these sort of these sort of guardians, and that they seem to be perfect, if not Titan-sized specimens of the creatures that they represent. Also, Silas is likely a little bit more learned book-wise. Some of the writing, like over the 3 generations between you guys and when this book is written, there is some changes in the language that you find occasionally difficult to follow. Silas, you've maybe read tomes like this before and are a bit more practiced at it. It's not that Grana can't read it, but sometimes you're like, that's a funny way of saying it.
I think that yes, exactly that she's like, there's a couple where she'll start to say the word out loud because she doesn't know the word and she's like unsure with it, but she comes to a conclusion on the word that is incorrect and she doesn't have any sort of like understanding. So I like that dichotomy of like, there's just like this little Silas in the background like smirking and just being like in his head like, oh, that's not how you say that, but she's trying her best to read through it. She definitely understands that this is beyond her scope of understanding. I think she's just trying to see if there's anything on the page that she can pull understanding from. So like, that there's a great number of them. I think that she kind of like puts it down at one point, looks over to Silas and just says, so Erendor was probably like, not... There's a lot more than he just let on. I'm gonna assume that there's more than like 3. I'm pretty sure he said that there was 3. There's more than 3.
According to these pages here from the first Rangers of the first king, your the current kings, and I'll kind of, again, you can see he's very manic right now.
Yeah, she's joining in on your mania.
Just to sidetrack real quick, I put myself into this character. I apologize. But very much so, like he's like looking over at Vhagar now. He's like, it would be his great grandfather. It's insane. It's boggles the mind. But yes, his rangers seem to. Erendor did not undersell it. Indeed, he great many beasts, representations beyond titanical. Anyways, but here, take a seat. Here, let me pour you a cup of tea. Allow me to calm down, and you can just see he starts eating a bit. Pours you guys a cup of tea. Sugar?
She'll nod and then kind of like look over to Vhagar to just be like sit. We have to talk to him. So, Silas, I was wondering if you had a moment to maybe pick your nose out of the book, because we have a couple things that we need to address.
Of course. You can kind of see he takes up his 2 books that are in his little book bra, kind of sets them up, wraps them up completely. On the side, ink, his fingertips are almost like covered in soot and ink, just like everywhere, but you can see he's finally calmed down a bit. His hoodie's actually off, so you can kind of see shorter hair on the sides, and then he's also got the entire bandage cloth around the side here, but starting to look a little scruffy, so you can tell he hasn't slept in a bit. So what brings you by?
So, Vhagar was, sharing some ideas with me, and I think we should share them with you.
Should I
Vhagar?
take my notes back out yet?
By all means. And she's looking between the two of them, like waiting for it to start.
As soon as she opens this up, as soon as she starts talking about this, I'm gonna grab a croissant and take an overly big bite. You know how when someone's fumbling through their purse
Delicious.
to pay for the check and doesn't want to pay?
It's delicious. It's the shop. The shop is just outside. You guys actually passed it as you're on your way in.
We'll have to stop
Little
on our way
Mims.
out. So
Little Mims Bakery. It's delicious. Highly recommend.
Everything that happened? No, okay. I didn't think so. What?
If you wouldn't mind.
Little Mims is now canon, by the way.
Yes, that's all I want to do. I want to canonize bakeries.
Silas, Vhagar had such a great idea, that we would go to the king in a private audience with the barons and his court, and them for what happened while we were away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What? Can you say that?
So,
Yeah.
yes.
You had-
What he said.
You had and he's looking over. He's kind of looking at you, but he's pointing now over at Vhagar. You had a great idea to meet with people in Kingsgate that we do not know, trust, or understand.
That's boot one.
I just slide a croissant over to him. It just one moment. You're pointing your.
You can see as he's reaching over, but
you're pointing your mage missiles at me. You're like,
well, here's the thing. His other hand is like scorching up, like he's about to cast fireball, like his little fire spell, and his
I'm casting.
So
like,
he's-
heal
We're in a
lay on
library?
hands,
Yeah.
Like,
We're in a library?
yeah.
We're in a library.
Vhagar, I'm going to ask this again. What conversations did you have? And I need to know every bloody detail of the conversation.
I thought this would soften you up just a little bit, but it's not.
You think it's going to soften me
I
up?
told you.
Okay. Well, I'll start from scratch again because this plan didn't work, and I'll look at Greta.
I tried. I'm sorry.
I feel one, I have a duty to the king, and I had to report to him in person. two. Over the past month, I have grown a immense duty to my all of, and I'm conflicted. I've realized that my king is the kingdom. You all reside in and around this kingdom. You are the kingdom. I serve you as much as I serve my king. So I'm torn when I complete my duty and I see the things that I've seen. And I want to hand it to my king. And I want to say, I saw what I saw. I can't understand them, but I know people who can help interpret what we've seen. And you have...
Did you say my name?
Oh, no. He just completely starts grinning. He puts his mouth in a cup.
Did you tell your king the name of anyone in this party?
Grenna's sleeping in the bastion.
It's completely fair, and they already know me from the Ardor, so that's fine.
I understand your doubts. I understand your doubts.
Do you know what power a name has, Vhagar? This is the king of Kingsgate. One name. Do you think he trusts everyone in his circle? Do you know I found out recently that the northern, excuse me.
No, I get you.
But the North Rangers were here. They pulled them from the north. That means the north, after all we've seen in the north, is unguarded and lies there. We do not know how many of the Order is here. And I can only make the assumption, being slightly educated here, Vhagar, just a bit more than you. Do you think then that the other barons and the baronesses and the others that are coming in, if not the pale blade that we met in Tesnal with Inquisitor Reese at their side, is not here as well? You saw what they did to a girl that they found in an orphanage.
I think,
do you think
it hit my face when I said this? So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Do you think this is a good idea still to meet at a table with people that are more than likely enemies? You think they're loyal to the king? No, they're loyal to their own pocketbooks, is what they are loyal to. Do not forget
also
them.
Grenna's opinion, also my opinion. So if we can just dial it back just a little bit. I don't know,
we agree on that part. But what we're coming to you about is to figure out what we can and can't tell them. We need to tell them something. He was on a quarry, I was on a quarry, and we took a long time to be on that quarry when we shouldn't have. We need to have some sort of recompense for that. But we don't tell them everything. That's what we were just talking about, that we don't tell them everything.
During Silas's rant,
I have a great idea.
During Silas's rant, Astus is sort of, you've now noticed that he's like standing at the end of the bookshelf, just kind of.
I think this is a great time. As soon as he, like, not even knowing Astus is there, I have a great idea. I know something that we shouldn't tell them, and he rips the cloth right off his eye. Maybe I shouldn't tell them about this. Right?
Some eye goo hit me as well. Like,
so as you tear the tear the eye patch off and look at the two of them, you see different versions of them. Grenna is in full floral regalia, plate armor, roses.
Yeah.
And she looks a little, not a lot, but she looks a little bit older. And you get a gut feeling that she shouldn't be here in the city. She doesn't belong here. And then when you look at Vhagar, you don't see a sort of a proud, confident night, he looks broken. He looks emotionally adrift. He looks unable to regulate himself. You see a shake in his body. And Astus, you see skeletal. His skin and flesh sort of bereft of all fluid. He's just sort of dried out, a husk, looking at you. And you feel like he does not have much time left here. And it happens in seconds as you're flooded with these visions of the three people. It's just a flash. And you guys can all see Silas for a moment pause as he takes you in, and he looks at you. I'll let Silas decide how he looks on each of you, but he clearly is sort of taking each of you in.
I'll step back and I'll kind of glance over at Grenna, just in that floor regalia, and kind of go, no. You're not her. You're not her. You are not this shell of a person. You, and he's kind of glancing at Silas over at Vagar now.
As well. I'll be like,
well, he's like was in the middle of a sentence. He slams the eye patch down, and like you can see, like he does this, like almost this 2-step back, right? He doesn't know if it's the lack of sleep. He doesn't know if it's just being extremely sugared, like a child that's had one too many cookies. But he also knows, I think, and CK, if it's okay with you, I may just improv a bit off this one, but I think he's been having dreams recently in the last couple days of just quick, not necessarily, like, it doesn't hit him all at once, like, but he's seen it in a dream. It's like trying to remember something from a dream.
It's like that weird deja vu feeling. There's something familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's literally looking at it and he's going, no, you're not her. She is not me. I don't believe in her. I don't believe in her little God-forsaken prophecies. I don't give a shit what I feel like. Futures can be changed. No. We're not going to this meeting. No. I'm not going.
What are we going to do?
Grenna's not going either. This is a bad idea. And he can see the skeletal, and he's literally out of his peripheral can see the skeletal figure that is Astus. You know, the man, out of character, but the man whose name, his last name, Astus Ren, he took his name. Just kind of waving in the background like a shadowy figure, and then just, I get to dictate fate. I can see it. I can steer it. I will understand it. So I am telling you.
I'm going to take a step back and scoot away. Okay. I was hopeful. I can't steer fate. I can't control.
I don't care what you're telling me. His hands go on top of his head now. You can tell, like, he can literally hear voices. Send her home. He's going to be heartbroken.
Can I try to put my hand on his shoulder? I'm going to try to, put my hands on his shoulder as he's going through this and just kind of look at him in the eye.
You can feel his hand get hotter. He's not meaning intentionally doing it. It's just getting hotter. Like he's about to cast a just no. I grab the cloth on the table and I wrap it back up again. No. It is not a good idea, Big God.
Of course,
These people will come out. Of course it's not.
Of course it's not. We asked for a private audience for all of that because I don't trust any of them. And I know with these,
You can.
you know what I mean? Silas, I may be foolish, but I'm not the complete fool that you're taking me to be. I have a duty to this kingdom, and there is a great influence called the king with great resources and great many people around this town, in this city, that are in danger. I'm going to inform them. If you would like to help me, you can.
Is your hand still on my shoulder?
No. Not when you're striking me. Not that. I know what non-consent. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Give me your hand. Just give me your hand. CK, do I still hear anything?
No.
Do I still no? When I let go of his hand, do I hear them again?
You don't hear them, but
just a little.
You don't hear them, but you know they're there.
Fate can be steered by us. All right, Vagon. The three of us and Thora, we stay close. Understood?
Aye.
Very close. We do not split ourselves up. We do not go anywhere. And we have a contingency plan. I read of a great man one time in Westbury that called himself the Owlbear Man and would just run around and have contingency plans. Batman reference. But yes, we stay close and we have a plan to get out when we need to, because something tells me this is going to go sour. And if everyone is there that I think will be there, then not just the Barons, but if Inquisitor Reese is there, she's going to recognize us. She did see you, at least. Did you forget? You had a conversation with her. You told us about it.
We're going to go in the room and we're going to know immediately who we can and can't trust. And we're going to face it. And we need a way to get the hell out of there immediately. And if I can get the king out, that's fantastic.
Well, there's a third book that Silas takes out. It's going to be the spell book. I think I'm going to make sure of that, no matter what.
I love you.
One more thing.
Dearly.
Did you tell them I can use magic?
No. It's the king? Absolutely.
You told him that I can use magic.
Yes. And if we can't trust him, then we can trust no one. And then we just get out of here.
It's not... Vagod, oh my dear Vagod, it's not that you do not trust the king. You do not trust the ears that are always listening to the king. You do not trust the walls next to the king. You don't trust the damn light that he leaves on his fingertips, that he puts it out before he goes to bed, Vagod. Not that you do not trust the king. Don't trust those around him. Not all of them, at least. They have ears, and ears can listen. And ears that listen have lips that can speak.
Nobody was with us.
Let us hope that. Vega, don't forget. There'll be those after me for this. And I'm telling you, I think some of them will be in very close proximity to us. So we need to be prepared. We need
How
to
to go
speak to
about it.
Thora. We need to speak to Thora. We need to go to Jingletown, and we need to understand you've lived in the city longer than I have, and I am telling you, I sense trouble afoot, and not only sense it, I have seen it now. Again.
I think
being
if we
said,
don't
now
be
look at
careful
Greta.
about this, we could be the catalyst for a whole war.
And I agree. Lord Norrin wanted to speak with me about things going on in the city. He asked me for a bit of a tasking. But what I saw when I walked through the city was a changed city. Places that were held with factions have been turned over. Places that I thought were safe, with that factions ruled, are now giving me a really, really bad vibe.
Hang on.
Reason, if this is
You may remember.
I'm walking out.
No, it's not.
All right.
It's not a beratement, but I'm telling you, the last time I saw the city like this, there was a fever sweeping the city. And we all know, you and I both know how that turned out.
Well, we're here at the center of gravity of everything that's boiling over. Either we're
I have a question. Who is this woman that the king is marrying? That everybody's in town for?
Yeah, she's got a name and starts with an M.
But does this start with an E?
Starts with an A,
No.
actually.
Oh.
Help me out.
We were
A
at least
Varen?
on the,
A
we were at least
Varen?
on the vowel,
Lady
vowel consistency.
Elwyn?
Lady
A Varen.
A Varen.
A Varen.
I had a vision of, I had a bad vision about her as well.
I don't think you've shared that with us.
You didn't
When did
tell
you
it.
have that?
And you talk of ear, and I'm not trying to be condescending, Silas, most intelligent and very dashing and handsome. But are we in a spot to speak freely as I look over at Bones Magoo?
Asked if scoffs at that. He's like, oh, and then shuffles off down another aisle of books.
Estes has hearing problems. He'll be fine. He's the only one that stays on this section anyways.
Do you remember the brazier that we were all sticking our hands in and we had visions? I don't know if you had these.
The ones that you did, and I stood on the outside and said, no, thank you, I don't want any part of that. Yeah, I do remember that.
I stood on the outside and was told to fire magic missiles repetitively, so that's what I did.
Yeah, I know that there's a bit of trauma.
Thank you.
Did you wait?
Thank you, Ghost of Grena.
You saw her then, that long ago.
Varen gave a Varen and the king embraced, and over his shoulder, she looked at me very knowingly and nefarious. I couldn't, what I gathered, and it could have been Istis.
Do you know her?
I have not seen her. I know, I've noticed that she lives across the.
So Tylus is to the south across the sea. You certainly know where Tylus is. I'll zoom the map up here a bit.
Wicked.
Yeah, it's
Tylus is way down here.
Yep.
And not a part of the kingdom. The kingdom sort of ends at Ravenport, which is to the north of Tylus.
So that's what I saw. You see hear prophecies, you see things. This is what I saw. But what I'm gathering is there are folks at play. There are greater gods at play that may or may not be giving us potentially visions that aren't true.
No. Thank God. I hate to defend her, but she doesn't show visions that are not true. She does show possibilities that can come to pass.
Why haven't you turned a page?
Oh no, do not mistake me. I still despise them,
Oh, fantastic.
but I still understand the order and the structure that she does watch over, at least now. At least a little better. But I don't think that's what Grenna is speaking of. Inside the cavern, against the great fighter, what did you see? I think that's what you're speaking of, Grenna.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
No.
the brazier back in the swamp
the brazier back in
when we
Ah.
when we first started to travel together.
Thora had visions as well.
I remember her speaking about them, but I don't remember her speaking
Mm.
about yours. And
don't
it's
know if
neither
she
here
told
nor
us.
there. I'm just trying to understand everything because we're not here. We're not here to tell the king about our adventures. We're not here to bring forth another war or another prophecy. That's not why we're here. We're here to watch two people get married. And I think we've lost the plot. And I think in that there might be something that we haven't taken account for. Who is Lady of Erin? And what part does she play in this? Because not only have you told the king, you've told the lady. And the lady's not even from the kingdom. So what part does she have to play in all of this now?
I don't think it. Does she know, CK? It was just me and the king, right?
It's just you and the king, but I think what maybe Gren is pointing to is like there are no secrets between
The fact that the king
husband
and
and wife.
the king and his wife are now going to be
They're
husband
getting
and wife.
married.
Of course, they're going to tell each other things,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the realm and outside of the
Oh.
realm in the world. So
On
she's
the
trying to
marital
lay
bed,
some-
they'll be like, "Oh, did you know that
yeah, pillow
my
talk.
Kingsguard did this?" And
Political
then, yeah,
pillow talk.
oh my gosh, let's talk, honey.
Yeah. She's posing the question basically of like, do you know anything about this queen, this potential new queen that we are getting, and the fact that she now plays a role in the story that we are trying to weave?
Real life and character, but if Silas is speaking the truth, then the vision that I had is she's up to no good.
And that is the part that we need to keep in mind as well with what we say. If anything is said to these people at any point in time, not saying we're going to this meeting, but I'm saying if any point anyone around knows of anything, it could be a great detriment to our lives. Not even just the realm, but our lives. We might not see what happens to the realm. I would like to see what happens. I'd like to know that there's peace. I think we need to do some reconnaissance work while we're here at this wedding. I think we need to understand the people that we are with and potentially their motives. I spoke to the Baron's son from Wyvernsmoor earlier, and even the own Baron's son doesn't want to be part of his family. I got very much disposition that he wanted to be free of his family and his responsibilities there. That is just one Baron and one Baron's child. I watched the Baron disregard his own son and wife and walk away without them.
Things are
And that
far
is just
simpler.
in public, a display, let alone what might happen behind closed doors, like I said earlier.
I've read
We need
stories
to know
of
more about the
Baron
Queen.
Wormbane. Yes.
I don't like him, that Baron.
The
I don't know,
stories
there's
just
just something
tell
about him.
the stories that I've read here. A great general on the battlefield is all I know of him.
Aye.
Does not sound like a pleasant man, though, nonetheless.
No, wasn't pleasant in the 2 minutes that I had an understanding of him.
Astis, who apparently does not have good hearing, walks by and hears you say a good general. He says, and he pipes in, sort of says, Wyvernbane is the most loyal of the barons.
Loyal how? There's different types and degrees of loyalty.
When
Where does he lie?
When Northgate fell, Lord Takar of that time fled to Wyvernmoor, and the Wormbanes took him in, nursed his wounds, and it was from Wyvernmoor that the army that would retake Northgate built itself up and set forth across the hills, and then eventually to here to the city to fight the orcs. He moves in a little closer. Baroness Gwyn of Riverwatch is the oldest of the barons, and perhaps the wisest. Not that she would portray that to you. She knows loss. It was her city that was razed by the dragon. It still has not fully rebuilt itself. Her husband died when the dragon attacked, and she has been a widow since, and she rules her people well, I am told, although I have not made it that far west in many years. Baron Oren of Ravenport is a baron in the truest sense of the word. He is for himself. But being at the edge of the kingdom has monitored much less than the other barons and their baronies. However, the kingdom's silver, the kingdom's iron flows through Ravenport, out of the many mining encampments, the hills, all the way to the Dragonscale Mountains. These are the three barons that your king will likely bring before you. There are no others, to my knowledge.
And in your personal opinion, would you be able to trust these barons with very, very sensitive information?
I believe, although Wyvernbane may not be the most congenial of men, he will not lie to you. In fact, if he does not like you, he will tell you as much. But as I said, unwavering loyalty to the crown and the kingdom. He takes the sacrifices of his family and his city very seriously. This kingdom was forged on many a dead man and woman from Wyvernmoor that took back Northgate. The widow, Gwen, again, the wisest. I do think she is here to get a leg up, though, so to speak. Her people need to rebuild. There is much wealth that Riverwatch could benefit from. And Baron Oren, I would not trust. Not because I think he would be traitorous to the kingdom, but Ravenport is a rich city because of what it deals in for the kingdom. And the Baron Oren thinks with his pockets.
I have an idea. And Silas, I think you might like this one.
Aye.
What if we go to this meeting? We placate them with just enough information to justify our means and to satisfy their quota for that meeting. And then, depending on how that meeting goes, if we feel that the Baroness or the Baron Wyvernsbane are of likely to trust, maybe we go to them person to person and try to seek an audience. I can at least try to get one with the Baron, because now his son is now a friend and ally. I don't know about the Baroness, but maybe we could speak to them one-on-one and be bit more honest and ask for their advice or what they think we should do. I don't think we should bring in the Baron of Ravensport. I think that is a bad
No.
idea, as Astus is trying to say.
He seems to be a bit of the opportunist, at least from what Estes has described.
If you intend to give bad omens to the king, and a war is on our doorstep, you will need the iron and the wealth of Ravenport to fund any sort of endeavor.
That's fair and
The
true.
money of the kingdom. The money of the kingdom throws through Ravenport, yes.
Problem is that if we do sit down and we do tell them these things and that Baron doesn't like it for some reason and doesn't want to go to war or finds his own way around things, he can cut it off from the rest of the kingdom, knowing full well what he's doing. That's a concern I have as well. If he is the port for in and out of that financial gain, he can cut it off at any point, whether he wants or not, whether he likes it
And I think the
or
bigger,
hates it.
and I think the question then remains, how does Tylus tie into this? Because of course, the soon-to-be queen will tie into it.
The people of Tylus are a people of faith, far more than any city here in the kingdom. The soon-to-be queen arrived with a contingent of keepers of the stone. These are clerics and monks who follow the nameless hero.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Vigard, how...
My understanding is that Lady Evarin is a devout follower of the nameless hero, having grown up in the city where the hero's tomb lies.
Vigard, I know you said the king and you were friends. And friendship can go a long way. But when it comes to business, how does he take things?
Well, I can only assume. He's the king. Yeah, he's overarching decisions. King's Gate is funded through policies and processes of taxes for a long time. He may not be aware of how the costs arrive. I haven't heard him speak of it much. I hate to speak anything in vain, but there's as much, look at Silas. There may be a lot of naivete, including me.
I will say that on that line, that is not an uncommon sentiment across the entire kingdom. Takar III is not by any means a bad man. People like him, but he is still a very inexperienced king.
How long has he been king now since his father died during the fire fever?
Okay, let me get that for you.
Sorry, my bad.
No.
We stumped the DM!
I have it here. I just need to find my note to sort of.
No, you're good. I love it, though. I love when a DM needs to look up their own notes.
I think I may find it. Hang on. 1267 KD. That's when the fire fever, pestilence swept.
That's when the fire fever erupts. King Takar III sits upon the throne as of 1271 KD.
Yeah, I see it. The third of the sits upon the throne. Okay.
But I'm just trying to find
what
year we're in right now, and I might have that. Hold on. Good questions, everybody.
Yeah, it was great.
Anytime I play, I've got the Chronicles of Trillion PDF up over here. I got my Silas backstory back over here.
No, that's not it.
You guys, I think this is all right. Just while he's looking that up, this is a fucking bad idea, right? This has got to be a bad fucking idea.
It's a terrible idea, and it's so like I'll give the little meta like outside me is like, this is a terrible idea, but I think that we should do it regardless because it's a terrible idea. But like in character, it's so hard because we're being told that these are good people. We keep being told that everyone's such a good person. And like there's a point where Grenna's now like, but good is subjective. Even by the best people, good is still subjective. So like it's hard. It's so hard for her to wrestle.
Okay, here we go.
Is such a,
King Takar is crowned in 1271. Very early in 1271, and in the spring of 1271, the oracle arrives and gives him the prophecy of the child being born with the mark. Not the full prophecy that you now know, but the original prophecy that leaves out the second child. And we are now so we're in the fall of 1271 right now.
okay.
Very early fall.
What were you saying? What early fall? Vega, what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, they kind of lost its steam there for a little bit, but yeah, we were going back and forth in character and out. But I think this is the discussion that's happening. We're firing back ideas, and you know the scene is
Yeah.
very us trying to sort this out. I disagree because I think the news is the only truth in this matter. And the one thing that nobody has in this room is the truth. And we're going to be one step closer to figuring out who is or isn't for the king, the kingdom, or who is nefarious in this. And we can start very simply with one truth. There are legions of orcs moving south. If the Rangers are, and we know this too, what do the Rangers say? The Rangers arrive. They say, we don't see anything. That's our first thread of distrust.
I just want to be clear. So you are in the lands that the proverbial world calls the North. There is much more developed kingdoms south of you, many more developed kingdoms south. So Rangers of the North, don't maybe take it as literally as they're specifically on your north border, but these are agents of the king that travel the north lands. So you're not sure if they've been any deeper into Sila Thalor than you guys were when you.
Here's a fact. Somebody in this room knows something. This is what I feel. Somebody in the room of barons will know something. If everybody's naive to it, then we've got a huge problem. If people want to throw their resources at marching to the north, that sounds like someone you can trust.
Maybe we do have to start somewhere.
Need to have.
I don't think a legion of orcs is crazy. Right? No. Anybody could have stumbled upon them. Alice stumbled upon them.
That's true. That is very true. And we did as well. We fought the whole thing. And survived.
In Nyloth? Why does Nyloth have to be a big deal? By the way, we fought an angry, gigantic spider. And look at someone's eyes.
No, fair enough.
It's a little piece.
Yes.
Maybe there's some credence in a little bit more of the truth that we can share, but I still think there's parts of it that we should keep very much under wraps until we know 100%. But I'm willing to go and share what we can. And I think maybe if we're honest and just say that there is more there eventually, I don't know how to pose it to them because, to be quite honest, I feel like they're going to see through all of us. That's what they do. But there is a part of me that believes that maybe what you're saying, Vhagar, does ring kind of true, and what you're saying, Silas, does kind of ring true. No, we shouldn't love them and believe every word that they say at any drop, but we also shouldn't not give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they could or would help And maybe they know a little bit more about something we don't, because to be completely honest, I think we're all in over our heads. We need somebody or something to know more than us, to give us something. We're grasping at hay here. And I think if there's more substantial things that we can find and a little bit more concrete foundation that we can put under our feet, we might be able to really do something good for the realm here.
And I think we should be honest in this extent. We met in Darkwood Abbey, all of us. I ran into Vagard on the road, and his squire boy, Jacques. We went to the Bloodhorn Bog in search of a brother Graydon in order to bring Brother Jakob. He would not be satisfied unless Brother... I do not want to... No. I do not want to say Brother Jakob knows things that no priest out of the Darkwood Abbey should know. He saw us do things. He knows what's in my skull.
I do believe that the brother would keep discretion. I truly, truly do. I don't think that the order has survived as long as it has by being blunt and honest with every person that opens their arms to them. I think it's definitely something that we need to be slightly wary about, just because we don't know if he has said anything or will say anything. But I believe that the brother will show discretion and keep our best intentions at heart. Our safety.
Fine. Let us presume that he does then. We came back to Darkwood Abbey. We discovered the creature up there at the Darkwood Abbey. We ventured further into the north in order to discover this creature's origins. We saw what happened to the great Malthara and her corruption from the Black Goat. We were able to turn the tides of the battle. We discovered that snake that crawled beneath the world, the great worm there.
Aye.
And we came here to Kingsgate as quickly as we can in order to report it. That can be the only truth we can tell them.
Aye.
I'm not gonna lie, that's all I remember. And I'm just gonna stuff a big croissant in my mouth. It just gets
I think
all
she
over
at this point also takes a croissant and starts to eat the croissant.
You're supposed to...
Okay,
Hang on, both of you. Take the croissant, dip it in the tea. Dip in.
And she like takes it back out of her mouth and like dips it in the croissant and then takes the other bite.
Can we skip
it's
ahead?
Overly
can
sweet,
we
guys.
skip
This
ahead
thing
then
is super sugary.
to the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. So Thora, there is some events that happen with Thora in Jingletown. So we'll just keep Thora as like a silent partner, but we will assume that she is with you.
Okay.
I think
before we go.
Yep.
I'm going there in my full kit.
To Jingletown?
Okay. But
To the meeting.
Okay.
I'm going there, sword, shield.
Yeah. I also will go as kitted out as I can.
Okay.
I'll just gonna go into my regular robes. Is there any spot that is kind of secluded on our way to
On your way, sorry, you're
the meeting?
You're pausing
any
for me.
spot at all?
You're pausing.
Actually, let me double check one thing before I even ask this.
You want to pause?
Sorry, my bad.
You want to pause along the roadway, like along one of the roads going there?
Yes, like I just want to make sure what am I doing? Speech, hand gestures. I want to try and cast augury. I want to get a feeling on how this next 30 minutes might go.
You can
augury this whole time.
I'll let you even cast augury like sort of just outside the meeting room.
Okay, and I got to make a wisdom check. Yeah. My life. Okay, here we go. Wisdom check.
You had 2 gloves this whole time.
Sorry, let me get my. I know this. Okay, so it's a primary. I add 1 to it. Natural 18 plus 1, 19.
And it's a primary?
And it is a primary.
Okay, and
give me something, Papa CK. Give me something.
What so do you ask a question in this case, or do I just give you
So a feeling? So my question for it will be then. Hang on, let me just have holding a small gem cut. I'll grab a small gem. Okay, this is just because of the gem itself. The eye. The gem is turned to okay, no, that's not what I want to know. The spell tells the caster if the next action up to 30 minutes in the future will be good or bad. The caster must make a wisdom check.
Yeah.
Okay, the dust turns to reflection. Or I will see my own reflection.
So what are you trying to get
just
a
want to
feeling
know what the action
of the meeting itself, whether the meeting itself will be good or bad?
Yes. Can I get a feel for as to let me be specific then, because it's easier to be specific with spells. Can I foresee whether the actions we take in the meeting will lead to war?
Oh, interesting.
I think that would be Silas's biggest no.
No, you don't get that sense from your augury spell.
Okay.
And I would say that the augury spell probably gives you a pretty positive feeling about the meeting to come.
Yeah, because we're all going to be dead. All right, next, onward.
Okay. So Thora is with you as you make your way through and to the meeting. Oh, we don't have music. Maybe this music will work. I don't want it to be too ominous, but we'll see.
Slightly ominous.
Vhagar, you know this chamber as the Hall of Concord.
Before us is the Hall of Concord.
Hidden within the western wing of the bastion, the Hall of Concord serves as the meeting place of the Great Council of Krolian. Many nobles, sages, generals, and priests have advised the king in this chamber.
Yeah, big raid coming in. Hi, Creep. Hi, everybody.
Oh my God. Well, 70 of you guys.
Oh, darling Creep.
I got a lot of people in here. It's good. We're about to go have a really intense meeting, so please join us for this really intense meeting.
Yes, and the players have been killing it on roleplay tonight, so I think we're in for a treat. Okay.
We invented a bakery, guys. We invented a bakery. Nice.
So the chamber is circular, and its high dome ceiling painted with a mural of swirling winds and constellations, symbols of wisdom, guidance, and the unseen forces that shape destiny. There is more than likely reference to Istus in the chamber's ceiling above. The walls are lined with tall arched windows that look out over the King's Channel, and their panes of glass tinted in soft blue, giving the room a serene light, even on stormy days and nights. As you step into the circular chamber, lit by the calm blue light, the air smells faintly of parchment and salt. A vast table fills the center of the room, its surface carved with the lands of Krolian, rivers glinting like silver veins. Above it burns a steady blue flame within a glass lantern, casting ripples of light across the faces of those gathered here. Beyond the arched windows, the King's Channel gleams under a gray, darkening sky, and the sound of distant waves echo like a heartbeat through the stone of the citadel. Sitting there are... Around the round table are 12 chairs. From your recent adventures, Grenna especially, the chairs are made of the same wood that your lance is made out of. They are darkwood chairs. No one in this realm has probably harvested a darkwood tree in many, many years, probably a few generations. And you are pretty sure that if the elves found these chairs, like, this would be enough for them to, like, they would be very angry. This is sacred wood to them. But here, they're just beautiful, dark wood chairs. Tim's face. And the fleur-de-lis is carved into the arching backs of each chair. Sitting around the room, there is obviously 2 chairs left empty for the king and someone else. Gregor Wormbane sits at the table. A blocky, large individual. He wears his black tabard with his yellow dragon emblazoned upon it. He is showing his age a little bit, though. The arms are not quite as taut as they were. The chest is maybe not quite as high. Everything's starting to sort of slowly give in to gravity. Baron Oren, Meldrick Oren to be exact, sits at the table. A thin pencil of a man compared to Baron Wormbane. He also wears his tabard with a wide-winged raven on it in simple black on a white tabard. His hair well kept and sort of like a very 80s bowl cut. I'm thinking the new Green Lantern from Superman, like so bowl cut, exactly. Baroness Gwyn sits at the table. She wears a brooch with a green field and a blue line running through it, representing the Sila River that Riverwatch rests at the mouth of. She's an elderly woman. Her knuckles, from arthritis, a little swollen. Her rings clearly not removed from her fingers in years. Her hair, she's given up on long hair. It is short and cropped. She doesn't have time for beauty anymore. She seems a very practical woman sitting at the table looking about at everyone gathered. Lord Norin of the Kingsguard sits at the table. Clean cut. Think like a Sean Bean type persona sitting at the table. And looking about, very dignified, in garb very similar to Vhagar, with the fleur-de-lis upon it. Lady Greystone of the North Rangers sits at the table. A woman that reminds you a little bit of Alice in that a rugged frame and clearly someone who lives the majority of their life not in rooms like this, out on the road, and she has a tattoo of a braid pattern that runs across both of her, like from one cheek over the bridge of her nose and down and across the other cheek as well. And her hair is braided and tied with simple blue ribbons for court. A man in white sits at the table. He's past his middle age as well. He's bald. He has no beard, no mustache. And his eyes are piercing. He wears the emblem of the Pale Blade, and you can only assume that this is the High Inquisitor Jericho from across the channel from Sanctuary. As you come in, they all stand. There were some conversations happening between people, but everything sort of goes quiet. And Baroness Gwyn speaks. Welcome, knights, and your allies. And everyone takes a long look at Thora, having never seen a tiefling before. They seem taken back, intrigued. She is definitely a presence in the room. only for how different she is from everyone else gathered here. We're just waiting for His Majesty and the soon-to-be Queen. Please sit. Make yourselves comfortable. Refreshments are being brought. Once His Majesty is here, we will hear what you bring to this council with open ears, open minds. I ask that we all remain calm regardless of what we hear in this chamber today. And remember that although our king is the ruler of this kingdom, he will look to all of us for guidance and stability. And we will provide it. And she looks very sternly at the High Inquisitor and Baron Oren of Ravenport as she makes that statement. No one responds to her, though. And food comes in and drink comes in. And then there are no trumpets. There are no, fanfares or anything like that. The king walks in. He's wearing very simple clothing. Not like he's headed out on the road, but he's obviously dressed for comfort. He's not wearing armor like some of the others. He's not wearing a tabard. And just behind him comes the Lady of Varen. And with her, there are 3 people in gray robes. 2 men and a woman. And these would be the followers of the Nameless Hero, the Keepers of the Stone. Lady of Varen's beauty is stunning. She has red hair, not fiery red, but clear that she, red hair would not be that common in Krolian. So clear that she's maybe, obviously not from here. She's from a different kingdom, and she's from Tylus. Her eyes show a sense of kindness, and where the king looks somewhat inexperienced, she does not look that way. This is a woman who has walked into a court many, many times, even though she's only in her early 20s.
So when she walks in, you see that she's stunning. Is it uncomfortable how pretty she is?
No, I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable. However, and this may have been overlooked because it was right at the end of last session. Thora had said that she glows. When I look at her,
yes,
she glows.
Okay, is she doing that?
And
all my attention is on her.
Thora seems to be, she doesn't come out and say it, but you think to Thora, and tieflings here can sort of see auras. She looks at the soon-to-be queen and she glows. Go ahead, Vigor.
If people arrive, I want to see if I can do this, CK. I would like to turn around to I imagine there's goblets of water and carafes, and I would like to subtly detect evil.
Okay.
And I want to do the casting so it's away.
Yep.
For a moment.
Yep.
I'll completely ignore all the standard attention and do these things to focus on it, and then turn around with the water and pour it. But as I'm doing this, I want to grab Silas's hand.
Okay.
'Cause I
Okay.
think he can. I feel that he can. The way he grabs me, that he can sense things that I sense or whatever. So I just assume, that I'm just gonna grab his hands. I do it. He might be able to feel, the tension of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would.
He will as quietly as he can, as like because he imagine there's like some chatter a little bit as the king and queen are kind of like whispering, make it look religious, make it look like a religious thing. Why?
So Vagard,
Because
I assume you're scanning everyone in the room.
Absolutely. I'm gonna start with the table and out. Like.
Then I'll just go through my list here. Baron Wormsbane, you do not sense any hint of evil intent there. Baron Meldrick Oren of Ravenport has a bit of a stain. But it's not overwhelming.
Yeah. It does some nefarious things to stay in power. Got it.
Baroness Gwyn, nothing. Lord Norrin, there is a little. Just like Baron Oren, Lord Norrin, which I just realized rhymes, they both have a slight. Lady Greystone, nothing. High Inquisitor Jericho, yes, the strongest in the room. But by no means overwhelming. Okay? Your king, nothing. Lady Averin, nothing. If anything, the opposite.
Okay.
With that, the king and Lady Averin move to their seat. Everyone waits for Lady Averin to sit. And the king sits then, and the rest of the room sits, and the doors are sealed. As the doors close, the blue lantern above the table begins to glow a little brighter. And I'm not going to ask for a roll, but Silas, that is no ordinary lantern, as you feel protective barriers rise around the room.
I just got that under the wire, didn't I? Yes. Oh boy.
okay, like a little aura, like nobody can see anything anywhere in particular. Okay. I'm gonna go hide underneath my cloak now. Go back as you were.
The king welcomes everyone, and he says, I know that we are all anticipating a great celebration with the wedding. And he looks endearingly to Averin. But Vagard and his companions have discovered things that are of tremendous importance. And I would not wait longer to share some of the information that he has given to me with all of you. He says, as you know, I sent Vagard and his squire to Darkwood Abbey to fetch a priest for the wedding. And with my leave, Vagard was given permission to assist the priest in any way he could prior to returning. And Brother Jakob, who is not with us right now, needed Vagard's assistance with a number of things, and that is the cause for the delay. It is also how we come to know some of the things that will be shared here in this chamber this evening. He then looks to the four of you who sit together at one side of this round table. What would you have us know? and everyone's
Lords.
eyes kind of look towards you.
Do I get the sense before I start this that Silas knows what I did?
No, Silas is unaware of what your sense disposition has given you.
Okay. Lords and ladies,
I know he casted it though, right? I saw.
Yes, I think you saw that he.
I was trying to hold his hand while I did it.
Yeah,
that's
he
why I was
casted
trying.
something. You don't know what he casted.
And
correct. Yeah, that's
well,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
I would say you did know what he cast. I think you do know. You've seen Vhagar do that enough by now that I think you you realized what he was doing. And I will add that when Vhagar put his hand on Silas, that same sense of quiet fell over you.
Yep. Had a feeling.
It was not just in the library. It happened here as well.
I love that.
Okay, Vhagar, floor is yours. My bad.
So the way that he puts this, he knows that Silas is gonna pick this up. You know, lords and ladies, your graces, and it's good to see you, Jericho, Lord Norin, and your majesty. I've brought before you, and the way I'm saying this is like I only gave like two names, you know, throughout this, to just kind of give a tell. I'm not too concerned with Orin because he's, you know, probably a leader and he's probably buried some folks somewhere. We'll dig into that later. But I, a humble servant of the king, was put on this task. And I met these amazing, wonderful, wonderful people as I look straight at Thora. I've learned so much about our kingdom and the vastness of this world and how much goodness there is. And on this journey, my eyes were open to the vastness and the purity of this kingdom and how much we need to protect it from its far reaches and corruption. But I can't explain it as well as my brilliant colleagues. And if you could just heed their words for a moment, I feel that you will be aware of a grave danger that is looming over this wonderful city and this great event. And I'll look over straight to Silas.
Who then looks at Grenna, and then Grenna very quickly picks it up.
I'll make it clean and just be like, you know, I'll look to Silas, but as soon as he backs away, I'll be like, Dame Grenna.
I'm like taking it and like handing it to Grenna, just like,
yeah.
There is a moment.
No.
We're gonna go internal real quick. Like if we were at POV Grenna, there's this that like happens in her throat that nobody can hear, and she immediately starts sweating. She's gonna. I think at this point she's been sitting pretty much entirely engarbed and with her helmet removed. I think at this point she removes her gauntlets as well and kind of sets them on the table to give a little bit more of that air of casual conversation that the king is trying to give with his fashion choice for the day. So she kind of like softens her demeanor, takes a deep breath. As Vhagar has graciously put it, all of our charges were quite different, but we found ourselves in union. And as such, we were privy to quite interesting experiences. We found ourselves down south in the bog, originally trying to find some of my missing aldermans. And unfortunately, while we were there, we did not find them in the best condition. But we found some other things that we thought were peculiar, things that we didn't understand, as most of us are not of faith. And we followed it. And now we are just at more questions than answers, as some of the things that we've seen don't make sense. And we are trying to find a way to make sense of them, which is why we bring them to this table in front of you all with your wisdom and your understanding. It seems that there is something going on with the gods. Trouble, turmoil, strife, something that makes them angry or want to lash out. When we were in the bog, it felt like we were being called by Istis. We saw many of her iconographies there. And then after we left, we decided to start heading north. We went to the Abbey. I figured after we experienced something like that, it would be good to cleanse and take a moment. While we were at the Abbey, I was privy to some information that I shared with our friends here, that the Abbey had discovered an ark, and they had brought it in. And with that, we found ourselves going north, into the wood, to try to understand if this was something that was actually a threat. Because if we were going to come back to the kingdom, we wanted to understand what may be coming with us, or what could be following. While we were in the wood, we did find a number of them, and we slayed them all, a band of them, coming up from the north, down south. Once we slayed them, we decided to come back. That is when we decided to come here to Kingsgate, that we could no longer postpone the brother to be here, the wedding to transpire, and also to share this information with you all. The black goat seems to be rising. Istis seems to be rising. And I am of no faith, so I have no understanding, and neither do my compatriots here. We don't know what it means. We don't know why. But we'd like to lay this at your feet, and maybe we could all try to figure it out together for the safety of the realm and those who are willing to protect it. And that is all she says. All she tells them.
A few of them start to murmur between one another. Baron Orin leans over to Baroness Gwyn. The High Inquisitor leans towards Lord Norrin. Lady Greystone of the Rangers looks at you and says, "We have found bodies of orcs on the banks of the Kern River, which is the river that leads into King's Channel. But Inquisitor Jericho assures us that the pass has not been breached, and that Hildrak has no bands of orcs residing near the pass. They would have to come from further north, as your story seems to indicate. The Rangers
They're
would...
burrowing. That is the thing that we have found. They are not coming over land. They're going under it. That is when we found the band. They were coming out of a hole.
Wormbane is... The orcs of old, they had no such devices to... If they can now burrow beneath the ground with these worms, what defense does the walls of Kingsgate provide? For that matter, any wall. Do we know how far these worms can travel in a day? Do we know at what speed they descend from the north?
No. The one that we found in the hole that we crawled in, unfortunately, was already dead. And it was very large. And very, very scary. And I normally don't get scared of much. But it didn't make me feel good.
The High Inquisitor says, Your Majesty, these portents of doom have already been foretold to you by the coming of the Oracle. Istis spoke that the child would bring about the end, and this is why finding the child is of the utmost importance to the blade and to the kingdom. We should double our efforts in the communities. At which point, Baroness Gwyn speaks up and says, by mass burnings, by pulling people from their homes, your inquisitor in the west came into my very city and attempted to overrule my rules, High Inquisitor. And there is a tense moment between the two. The High Inquisitor says, I am not aware of these injustices to your people, Baroness, but I assure you, if this has been done, then the Pale Blade will take appropriate action against the Inquisitor that has done so. And Gwyn scoffs at that. Go ahead, Vhagar.
I'm just looking at Silas like, can I? No? Okay. And then I'll go, no? Still no? Okay.
I think underneath Silas's breath, he's gonna remember something that Istis says. Observe, watch, hang on. Yeah, I just remembered it too. But observe, watch, and accept. Like he's muttering it. Observe, understand. So he's observing right now.
Wormbane says, Your Majesty, your militias are nowhere near the numbers they should be. We need a greater garrison at the Abbey, and River Watch for that matter. King's Gate must be held secure. I have asked you to call upon more of the surrounding towns and villages to bring men and women willing to fight to the city. These are all things that I have been telling you since you have come to power. It is for times like this, Your Majesty. Your father, your grandfather, understood the need for security and protection. The woods hold many dark secrets, many ancient secrets. The time to stand is now. Oren and Gwyn, though, do not agree with his uptake on that, and they begin to speak like enough people have been levied for militias and guard, and the Baroness puts forward that her people are still trying to recover from the dragon's attack, and then the plague. The Baron of Ravenport puts forward that his people are stretched so thin, guarding caravans of ore and silver back here to the capital and to other locations among the kingdom. And
I think,
yeah, go ahead.
As they're squabbling, Grenna's gonna scooch her chair back to make a noise and stand up. Not abrasively, but she's just gonna do it enough so that they can understand that there is something happening, and she's rising to give attention. And hopefully that can break into a silence very quickly. But she wants to just kind of address the room and put her hands on the table and lean into the room intently. You know, when Vhagar told us about this meeting, I was very concerned. I don't know any of you. Yet I have to trust and put my faith in you all that you will protect this realm as is needed, together. Because no one person and no one people can survive on their own. You sit here and you squabble about things that don't matter. Your money, your power, your land. Yes, your people might be suffering now, but they're going to be suffering a lot more if we don't do something about this. If you all don't put your differences aside, or the little things that don't matter right now, or the things that can be dealt with and recompensed later. This is a detrimental time for our realm. Do you not understand the presence that the danger looms over our heads?
As you say that, Lord Norrin also stands up, pushing his chair back, and he says, "The Eglinton Order has long been doom guards, speaking that the end is near, that the black goat will rise. Orcs in the wood are no sign of the black goat. Orcs in the wood are a sign of orcs, that another war chief has risen in Hildrak and is pushing into our lands again. These are things that can be dealt with. There is no threat from the goat. There is no threat of doom upon the world. They're orcs."
The last time you saw an orc, how many arms did it have?
He looks at you, and as you ask him that, you realize he's never seen an orc.
Can you tell me what it looks like, Baron? Or was it the Inquisitor?
No, it's Lord Norrin, head of the Kingsguard.
Kingsguard. Kingsguard, yeah.
So, Mr.
Norrin, that's what we call him.
Your boss, technically.
So, can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how they fight? What they sound like
he
when
waves
they die?
he waves his hand at you and looks at the king, and he says, "I told you the order at Darkwood Abbey would have us fear the worst at all times. They think the world is ending."
I have been no naysayer, and I have not once said that the world was ending. I just said that our realm was in danger. I have not brought new portents of doom. I am telling you the facts of what my 2 eyes have seen, what my 2 ears have heard, and what my 2 legs have carried me through. And when I am sitting here asking you how many arms an orc has, it is because the ones that I have seen have 3, 4, 5, 6. That their ears are shaped like bats.
You realize that he is like totally dismissive of you. He chuckles a bit to himself and he's like, 6 armed orcs. Are we to sit here and believe that? And you guys realize that Grenna and Norn are the only 2 standing until the lady rises.
As soon as the lady rises, I sit down.
I look over as soon as she stands up. I'm glancing right at her, and I just... I remember us saying one time, long ago, someone stood up to stop an unspeakable darkness, did they not? And in doing so, they left a legacy for us to walk upon. One to aspire to protect the vulnerable, humility and self-sacrifice. I've heard what they had to say. What of you, Lady Averin?
She smiles at you. You know my keeper.
I know them all.
As sure as these heroes have brought to this capital word of something stirring in Silathalor, know that they do not lie. For as sure as the black goat rises, another power has been felt stirring within the city of Tylus. Whispers of the nameless hero fall upon my ears daily. They too have begun to rise again. The empty tomb speaks to the people of Tylus. Only the return of the black goat would cause such a thing to occur. My coming to wed your king is a necessity. I did not think it would happen this soon. And she looks at the four of you. We will need to strengthen Darkwood Abbey. There is a great artifact there that must be protected at all costs. The goat will come for it. River Watch on our western border will need to be rebuilt and strengthened. And if it takes the gold and the silver and all the iron in Ravenport, know that my king and I will see it done. And although we have not levied all of our militias here in the city, this is not something that we are against, but I would see it delayed for as long as possible. As dark times loom on the horizon, our people need to be with one another. For there will come times ahead where they will need to remember what's important here and what they fight for. I will be your queen in the coming days, and I do not intend to be silent upon the throne. I have come here for a reason, with ordnance from the hero and their tomb. The Keepers of Stone will reinforce Kingsgate from Tylus if necessary. And the troubles that will come here will break upon this city's walls. And that's where we'll call it for tonight. And we'll be back at it in 2 weeks, where we'll probably get to have a wedding finally. And then we'll see where we go from there. Good role playing tonight, everyone. That was a blast. That was a blast. Not a lot of dice rolling. It was one of those nights where we just plodded through that plot and story. I appreciate your patience for when you weren't like an active player. Always nice to see you guys sort of like let that spotlight flow around. That's always cool and appreciated. Shall we raid someone? Because we were raided. I think we should pass that love forward.
Oh yeah, if you want to, DM Dave's up there with Guild Superior. They're part of that gang, so we can hit them up if you want me to push the button. But man, there's a lot of folks still watching out there. We really appreciate that. You're as blessed as we
Thank
were
you guys.
sitting on the other end of this. So
good.
come back for the wedding and let's get behind this king and queen, and
Bring your
stay
friends.
up-
Bring your
so
friends and bring a
good.
glass of wine.
Yeah,
Bring your friends. Bring
yeah.
a glass of wine. We're
Bring
popping
a glass of
bottles. 2
wine.
weeks.
Your fancy dress, wear a fancy dress. It's a wedding. It's a party.
Wedding.
Everybody gets to enjoy it.
Hey. Oh, let's not forget, it's the day before Halloween. Let's dress up, y'all.
Yes, we're all yes. Oh my God, it's the day before Halloween. Come join us, have a fancy drink, and dress up and enjoy it with us. We're gonna have a freaking party. And
Maybe
hopefully
it'll
nothing goes wrong.
maybe it'll be a
Or-
spooky
yeah.
wedding. Maybe it'll be a spooky wedding.
There's ghosts
Yeah,
at
so
the
he's-
wedding.
Yeah, who would have thunk in a Castles and Crusades game?
Oh God.
That's awesome. Yeah, let me know when you want me to push the button.
You go ahead and do it, my man.
All right. Let's see if that worked. I'm always so bad at rating. Invalid username. Let's try again.
Yeah, try it again. Try it again. But thank you so much.
Push
We
the
have
button
blast.
again.
Always a
Push it
blast.
again.
Try it again.
There we go.
There it is.
Perfect.
Hey, stay with us so we can get in
freaking
there and give a
raid.
big shout out to Dave. They're super talented. Thanks, Jeremy. Dude, it's so, man, what way to improve the Thursday, the big hump day. You know what I mean? Like way to let us all in on a good note. You ready?
I had a blast.
Bye, everybody.
Absolute blast.
Miss you, love you, bye.
Bye.